shall we get the poll up too? So while we're waiting, we can get our audience to help us do the poll.
Sure. All right. Hi, Brendan. Good morning. And to all the audience who are already here, can we have your help to just answer 3 simple questions so that we have a good sense of the type of profile of attendees, and we could tailor the presentations later on to suit this profile. Thanks, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. Happy Friday. It'd be nice if you can share your video too, so we can meet you as well.
Right, I think we'll just give 1 more minute and we'll start at 10:33.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. If you're just joining us, we have a poll. Kindly take a few moments to respond to a poll. And we'll be starting in another minute here. We have a shy audience this morning, huh? We have not seen a lot of camera on yet. Morning, Tanchi. How are you? Okay, if you're just joining us, kindly take a few moments to do the poll for us. All right, I'll get started. Good morning, everyone. My name is Christy Dow. I'm the Program Director for Gecko Asia, our Tech Talent Accelerator. Welcome to a webinar, Empowering SME with Digitalization, Innovations, and Grants. Right, as the title suggests, our audience today are mainly SME owners and leaders. And welcome everyone to this webinar. Happy Friday. The last time we had this at Suntech, we had a full house. So today you're in the comfort of your house or your office space. And if you're leaders, business owner, 2 topics that may be very near and dear to your heart is how to drive revenues while keeping the cost low. I have 2 perfect speakers for that. They're both from award-winning organizations. As Rahul Kaur from Gecko Asia, he will be taking you through the challenges that SMEs are facing today with digitalizations and its potential solution. We got Gerald Yap, Director of Real Inbound Consulting. He and his team do this very unique and basically help us taking the heartache and the headache out of the grants. And I worked with Gerald and team recently. Really happy to be working with them and partnering with them in this webinar. Right? How are we doing on the poll? Do we have enough time for the poll? Okay, so basically with the 2, okay, you can, all right, let me just take you to the poll. We have this interesting question. How many years do you think COVID has accelerated digital transformations? And the answer is 3 to 5 years. This is very close. The actual answer is 7 years by the Huawei research. And after this call, I can share the link over the chat so you have a look at their research paper as well. In terms of support level, well, we got a good split between 30% and 50%. I would say these are very realistic expectations. However, there's also some are expecting more than 50%. The good news is in Gerald topic, I think he has some grant that exceed the 50%. So you're in for a good treat as well. And then the third question, wow, this is Rahul, big day. This is a perfect answer, right? What is the promising technology developing is Gen AI. This is awesome. So let me hand this over to Rahul to kick off the sessions. Over to you, Rahul.
Hi there. Good morning. Every day is my big day. Yeah, Christine. Yeah, I hope so, at least. Yeah. So I'm excited to share this time with you. Thank you so much to all the members of the audience. We are an IT consulting company by the name of Gecko. And Benny, next slide. So what we are sharing in the next 1 hour is a variety of topics. Yeah, but my section is to share a little bit about next slide, please, Benny. Yeah, this very unique program, what we call Tech Talent Accelerator. Yeah, you know, when I get to speak to a lot of business owners, CEOs, senior leaders in Singapore and the region, they are all excited about embarking on digital transformation projects. And the challenges that they see most of the time is navigating which technology or which platforms are the key, right? But a bigger secondary topic is talents. Yeah, about how do we get suitable talents, because technology is changing at such a fast pace, and how do we get it in a more cost-effective manner? So people have used a lot of options like offshoring, like government support is there, but there's still some challenge there. So what I want to share with you is a little bit about we worked with about 15 plus SMEs in Singapore in the last 8 months now, and we have had some very good experiences that I want to share in this session. And that would be the focus of the next 20 minutes. But before I get to that, generative AI, wow, 100% people feel this is the most promising trend. So nothing has changed since the last time we ran this survey, which was about 4 months back. So in Gecko, we have a team exploring these technologies. And what I want to share with you is how we have used generative AI to kind of address something which is very unique and compelling. And this is about creating engaging videos using any form of content, whether it be pictures, PowerPoints, website information, or just ideas. So let me get my colleague Benny to share a video from an institute of high learning, and they wanted to promote an event. So here you go.
The year is 2124. Humanity has conquered space, with thriving colonies on the Moon and Mars. But as we venture further, new and formidable threats emerge. Cybercriminals, more sophisticated than ever, are launching attacks on our most vital technological systems, from planetary infrastructure to personal data. In the face of this menace, an elite force has risen. They are the cyber agents, the last line of defense in the digital frontier. NICE and Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore have seized a pen drive from a notorious spacefaring criminal syndicate. This device holds the key to their next move.
Attention all units. Operation Nice Hack is now in effect. We need the best and brightest minds from electrical engineering to decode this critical information. The cyber criminals have already caused massive blackouts on the Moon, disrupted Mars water supply systems, and leaked sensitive personal data from millions of Earth residents. This is your chance to make a difference. Do you have what it takes to defend the digital frontier and secure humanity's destiny?
Join NICE Hack for a hands-on experience in cybersecurity challenges, September 28th and 29th at...
So the interesting part about this video was that the entire storyboard, the like sequencing of images and the content, voiceover. So this voiceover is all machine generated, and the final video production, it was all done with AI. And the most exciting part is that what typically takes probably between like 2 weeks, 4 weeks. This was done over multiple iterations within 1 week, in days, right? So this is something where we have used AI capabilities to do something very interesting and promising. Benny, maybe one more video just to share with you on how this is a very interesting option. Now, this was from a company who wanted to promote their services. And again, this content has been taken from their website and some brochures, and the entire production was done again in a matter of days, right? So let me just have Benny play it. Benny.
Are you ready to refine the way you learn at work? In today's fast-paced world, upskilling is crucial. Our short courses are designed to help you stay ahead, enhancing your skills and boosting your workplace performance. Join our course, Embracing Workplace Learning, an introduction to individual methods for work, and unlock the potential of effective learning methods. Recognize what is workplace learning and its importance. Identify the different types of workplace learning methods. Identify the barriers and enhancers that impact workplace learning. Practice 2 to 3 selected individual workplace learning methods to embrace learning at work. All in this 7-hour course led by Claire Poon, a seasoned expert with 20 years of experience in learning and development. It is designed to elevate your skills and knowledge, perfect for HR professionals, managers, and educators. Not the right fit for you? Don't worry, we have plenty of other courses to offer. Visit our website or scan the QR code on screen, and you are sure to find the perfect course for you. Don't miss out. Register today for a transformative learning experience. Institute for Adult Learning.
So yes, so 2 very quick demonstrations of how in a very like quiet manner, AI is disrupting some of the work that was done like in a different way in the last years. So Benny, back to slides, please. Yeah, so we have had cases where this same technology is being used for like coming up with videos for product introduction events and stuff like that. So this is on one side. Now on the other side, in enterprises, we see adoption of AI and related technologies in creating dashboards, which are more like control towers, right? So these systems are able to look at structured and unstructured data across your entire supply chain or value chain and give you alerts now on where the process is stopping or what is the performance of the system across. And next slide, many of these systems can be queried in natural text. So gone are the days when you had predefined KPIs and charts where you look for like reports. Now you can query these data and ask why was our April revenue less than before, and then AI would come up with some analysis on its own and present you related data. Yeah, and it can also allow you to do what if scenarios or come up with questions like, can you outline the variations in revenue this year compared to last year or so. So these are some of the interesting ideas that we see on how new technologies are being addressed in the market. So for all those people who mentioned that generative AI is the most promising trend, then I think you are quite bang on the buck there. Yeah. So next slide, please, Benny. So a little bit about us. So we have been in market for a long period of time in Singapore since 2006. And the number I want to tell you is towards the later right side of this slide, which is about 3 years back. We were a relatively smaller company. In 2021, we had 90 people in Singapore and Philippines. And in the last year, we have grown to 270, right, across 3 locations, Singapore, Philippines, and Indonesia. And the driver of this growth has been a very innovative program. Next slide. which we called Upskill Today. And what we have done is in these 3 locations, we have looked at candidates who have experience in tech, but maybe not the latest tech. And we work with them, we upskill them in a very short duration. Since we are practitioners, we know what is required. In Singapore, we run this program for about 6 weeks, and we can deploy a ready consultant in 2 months. The same program was done in Philippines, where we have deployed about 160 people, and in Indonesia, where we have started this year, and we have more than 10 associates working on very exciting projects across multiple technologies. Yeah. So let me quickly bring my into. So what is it that we are trying to solve here, which I want to share with you? You know, we have worked with at least 50 SMEs in the last 1 year to understand what are their key issues when it comes to trying to embark on a digital transformation project. And we crystallized it into 3 things when it came to the talent piece. Of course, I mean, there are other issues like they need to figure out which technology is the most suited. But the biggest issue in terms of having it executed, if a company knows what they want to do, is to find a tangible way to execute it through talents. So the 3 common things that we saw was one, I think SMEs sometimes are not able to articulate the roles and responsibilities of the role. What should this person be doing, right? In terms of, let's go in a very simplistic manner, it's the job description or the scope of work. The second one is, I think at the SME level, it is a little bit harder to attract good talent when you have competition from the likes of, you know, the Googles and the Amazons and the Microsoft, who are, you know, like going with a stronger brand, and sometimes you lose out with people who are aspirational because the message is not conveyed in a good way to these talent that probably you have a better value offering. And third is, once somebody is onboarded, how do you manage them? How do you manage their expectations? First year tends to be the most critical one, you know, when they are not sure, you are not sure, and how do you, if you know, we have seen if you can go past this 1 year, then the retention is higher and the acceptance of good talents for SMEs is higher as well. So these are some of the names that we have worked in the last 8 months across industries. Some of them are in energy management, logistics, online e-commerce platforms, education, cybersecurity. See, and we have at least 15 such companies, SMEs in Singapore, that we have worked with and got them to implement their exciting digital transformation projects in a very, very affordable and cost-effective manner. Yeah. So let me share 2 or 3 examples of such projects. So this company is in the logistics space, and they wanted to come up with a new digital platform, right? In a very niche technology. So they had a concept of what needs to be done. They wanted to make this platform on AWS and use automation principles like Terraform and Golang to implement. And we set together a team of 3 people and engaged these 3 people over a period of 12 months. They are in the 10th month right now. And I'm very happy to tell you that company is very happy. The consultants who are deployed on these projects, and they had, while they were developers before, they were not skilled in Golang. So very pleased to share with you that they have become very efficient Golang developers, and they are working on this platform in a very, very good manner. And the company managed to get a significant funding to do this project, and a solution to the need which they were struggling for, for at least 6 to 8 months before they started working on this with us. So this was one company. The next one is, well, this company wanted to make use of generative AI, things like ChatGPT, the DALL-E for pictures, and Frontier database, and some very innovative technologies to build a new system to disrupt the education market that they are in. So we managed to get a AI full stack developer with experience in ML and AI to work on this. And again, they are in the 10th month of deployment. Good funding support, and able to solve a problem which they were not able to do it before. Next one. Okay, so this company is in energy management space. They work with a lot of devices like sensors, IoT, and other stuff. And they wanted to, again, build a platform to collect all the data in a secure manner, analyze it, and have it visualized and presented in an automated manner. In the blue box, you would see the technologies used. Many of them are very modern, like Python, Django, using technologies like AWS CloudWatch, visualization on Power BI and Tableau. So again, they probably in the 8th month of deployment right now. This was from batch 2 that we ran with the SMEs, and again, it's very promising. One of the things that we do is, after the mandated period of 12 months of our involvement, we allow the resource that we have deployed on a SME project to be absorbed by the SME. So your internal capability that you have developed over 1 year stays with you. Now, this is a very differentiated model that you will see with any other vendor in the market. And because our goal here is twofold. We want to help SMEs address the digital, like transformation capability they want to build, but we also want to have them develop internal capability that stays with them. Yeah. So very pleased to share with you that these resources are expected to be absorbed by this SME in 4 months' time. Next slide. Yeah, in interest of time, I'm going to speed up a little bit here. Again, semicon manufacturing company, and they worked with very niche technologies like C++, Qt, QML, and we were able to get a Singapore-based Singaporean resource using this tech, which if you are aware of these technologies, they are very hard to find in Singapore. So this is one of the problems that we solved, which is to work on very niche and select technologies. Yeah. Next one. Okay, so what do we focus on? We focus on what we call ABCD technologies. So if you have projects in the space of AI, blockchain, cloud engineering, or data engineering, and you want support with local resources in Singapore, we have some attractive solutions for you. Yeah. Next one. How do we do it? I think this is something that you can go to upskilltoday.com. There's more information on there, but it's a very unique model where we have a strong talent acquisition team to scout for people who have the right skills and motivation. We hire them, and then we train them to your specs, to your project specs. And then we deploy it to them, deploy them to your organization in an outsourcing model for a period of 12 months. So the engagement, the commercial engagement with an SME only starts during deployment. Before this is something that we take as a risk, and we give you a comfort for the entire 12 months to ensure that the talent is meeting your requirements. Yeah. And after 12 months, you're able to absorb them. So this is the model. Yeah. Next. How do we do it? So other than technical capability and trainers, we have very specialist people called coaches who are skilled and qualified in working with people on motivation and their challenges in the first year. So this is something that we bring as value. And the second one is, in addition to coaches, we also have technical mentors, seasoned industry practitioners who have been on complex ID projects, who are going to guide for the resources for entire 12 months, right? So this is some value add that we bring in. Okay, so I think a quick question would be, and this is sometimes what we hear, this is something most people can say, oh, great idea, let me do it on my own. Yeah, it can be done, yes. But it's just that the success that we have seen, because we have economies of scale, we have a method, we have worked with about 200 consultants and more than 30 companies in the last 3 years. So a lot of risk, a lot of value is available through the learnings that we have made. And more importantly, the whole administration thinks about getting the right support in terms of grants is something that we can bring with partners like Gerald, and we know about various schemes on how this can be done. So I think this is the right time for me to bring you now here's the thing. I gave you a little bit sense of what kind of digital transformation projects have we worked on, a brief snapshot on that. But Singapore has a challenge. The challenge is cost. I think this is something all of us know. And I think we are very fortunate to have government and some agencies who are willing to support with some very attractive ways, right? And this is where I want to bring in my partner, our partner, Gerald Yap, who has some very interesting ways on how this can be addressed and what possibilities are there in the market for this. Yeah. So thank you so much for your attention, and I will now pass it to Gerald. Gerald.
Hi. Okay. Can everyone hear me? Rahul, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. All right, great. Thanks, Rahul, for going through the content over there. For the next 15 minutes, I'll be very happy to share with every one of you the grants in Singapore that accelerate SME digitisation, and that's tying back to whatever Rahul presented about digitisation in terms of AI, in terms of also hiring the right talents to lead digitisation efforts like automation and even new technology development. So before I kick off my presentation, could I initiate a poll with everyone? Yeah, can I have everyone's just take a few minutes to answer this 6 questions, so that it gives me a sense of what kind of grants, maybe to share a couple more words on, to put special emphasis on, depending on the type of companies that we have today. Right, so perhaps I'll give about a minute for everyone to just quickly help me fill in the pool. Okay, if anyone has any questions about how to answer on the pool or regarding the questions asked, you can just feel free to type in the chat, and perhaps Aggie or you could let me know if there are questions.
Yep, sure.
Yes, Aggie. Okay, I'll give 30 more seconds. I know it's quite a bit of questions, which actually is quite reflective of the situation when we talk to companies about grants, because there are indeed quite a few questions to ask when qualifying certain types of businesses for grants. Many things that government agencies consider. So actually, these questions that you're answering, they are more or less the initial set of qualifying questions that we typically ask SMEs before we propose which grants are suitable. All right, I see that 10 out of 19 has responded. Maybe I'll just give about 30 more seconds for anyone else who is trying to complete the survey. All right, in a few seconds. Yep, that's good. All right, we can conclude the poll. Right, so let me share the results here. So for question 1, does your company have at least 30% local equity? 90% of the audience indicate yes. 10% unsure. So hopefully my presentation later could shed some light on it, or I could even address it as a question if you could kindly put in any doubts you have on whether your company is 30% in the chat box. We can answer it in the Q&A later. Okay, second question, the most recent full year revenue of the company. We have about 20% whose companies have less than 500K, and then we have about 20% above 1 million, between 1 million to 5, and about 60% for between 5 to 100 million. Okay, so quite a good range of companies we have here. Third question, what's the company intending to do? We have almost half of the room looking at implementing software and automation. We have a couple, one of you looking to secure external financing, and I'm thinking this could be in terms of grants or even equity financing. And 40% just looking for available grants. So yeah, very sure you have that question answered to quite a good degree. All right, question 4, did your company apply for, received approval, or is in the midst of any projects? So we have 60% yes and 40% no, so almost half. And the reason for asking this question is because we want to have a sense of how familiar is the audience with grants. Right, and the 5th question, number of employees, we have about a majority of the room having about 11 to 20 employees, and then we have a small minority having less than 5. And last question, is your company looking to embark on any digitization projects? We have a majority saying yes. All right, thanks everyone for giving me a good sensing. All right, so let me go on with my slides. So I will start off with a bit about myself. Right, so my name is Gerald Yap. I previously came from the business-to-business tech world, doing some roles in relating to commercial and business development in fintech firms and shipping tech firms. And then after that, I came out to found RIC, Real Inbound Consulting. It's essentially a grant consulting firm of over 9 years. We help businesses secure grant financing for very strategic projects like research and development and commercializing of new technology, like overseas expansion, also for automation, be it adopting software, Gen AI, ERP systems, or even automating production lines with robotics and IoT. And also we help with companies to do hiring, strategic hiring. So we can advise them on how to secure hiring grants to fund salaries of their strategic hires. Today we are a team of 12, so the slides need a bit of updating. We just recently onboarded two more. So a team of 12 across Singapore, Hong Kong, and Philippines. Where
Hi, Gerald, are you sharing the slide?
Yes, I am. Can everyone see?
Not yet.
Okay. Thanks for reminding. Let me. All right.
There we go. Thank you.
Thanks for reminding. Okay. Yeah. So this is the slides. All right. So I was talking about the grant consultancy scope of our service. Right. So we can do grants in both Singapore and Hong Kong. And we are certified consultants recognized by Enterprise Singapore for management consultancy related projects. On a personal basis, I'm a father of 2 cute boys, as you can see in the project, in the picture on the right. And I'm also an insect lover. So on the top right corner, you can see the picture of my pet paying mantis, which I kept for a couple of years. All right, so going forward, before I talk officially about grants, I'd like to just draw some parallels between human capital and SME digitization, right? So for actually every type of digitization that SMEs do, there would be relevance of human capital, right? For example, right, if you're talking about adopting new technology to improve processes, you will need internal champions, right, within your company to implement these kind of projects and ensure that the ROIs are met, right? If you're talking about innovation, for example, developing new products to commercialize and to scale globally, you need a solid tech development team, right, to drive the development and go-to-market strategies. And if you're talking about scaling your business globally, right, so not so much of like just R&D, but actually having the product already and now you want to scale, you need dedicated teams to orchestrate the scaling efforts, especially when entering new markets, because each new market is almost like a new mystery to solve. Right. And lastly, when some companies talk about digitization, they think about engaging external consultants, example, fractional CTO, right? Or consultants that have done many digitization projects before. And when you bring in external consultants, you would need an internal team of champions to work with these consultants to see through their recommendations. Otherwise, it's just a paper exercise, right? So there's very high relevance of human capital in relation to SME digitization. And now the third piece of the puzzle is that, okay, the grants that come in, right, to fund all these initiatives. So good news, there are grants that can fund all the initiatives that I mentioned just now, as well as the relevant human capital costs. Okay, so the first grant I will talk about today, I'm going to talk about 4 to 5 grants, right? I won't dwell too much on one grant specifically, so in the interest of time, but I'll just cover the few aspects of each grant. Okay, so the first grant we are talking about is called EDG Product Development. EDG stands for Enterprise Development Grant. So this grant supports companies to develop new technology offerings for commercialization. So the keyword here is to develop for commercialization, which means companies must develop and then commercialize, and not to use internally to just improve your internal processes, right? You need to sell this technology. Okay, so the eligibility for this grant would be that the applicant company needs to be 30% locally owned, right? It shouldn't be the first product of the company. So it should be that the company already has some form of core service offering or some form of offering, and then now looking to productize or productize it in form of a technology, or to even launch a second product offering that is tech-based, right? And the product developed should be innovative and it needs to be commercialized. Funding level up to 50% of the relevant costs. There is no quantum cap in terms of the dollar figure, and how much grant the agency would give depends on many factors like the size of your company, your historical revenues, and certain industry benchmarks of similar companies that have gone for such projects before. Right, supportable costs includes salaries of your tech development staff to develop this new product. And tech stuff could mean software and hardware. So if your product has hardware elements like IoT sensors, or even you're trying to come up with like a robotic arm, a new innovative robotic arm, right? Then you can include also mechanical engineers and electrical engineers as your tech staff. It doesn't have to be just software focused. It can also include, my second point, outsourced development costs, which means to say you're outsourcing some part of the product development to a local firm. That cost can be claimed as well. Third point, prototype manufacturing. That is if your solution includes a hardware component and you need to manufacture the first prototype for testing and proof of concept. It can also include hardware and software designing costs, testing and certification costs to get your product tested for certain competencies, or getting certified for certain standards so that you can enter overseas markets. And also, you can claim third-party tools that you need for your development. For example, computer-aided design tool, or certain types of very niche third-party software that you need for your engineers to design and to model the new product. All right, in terms of the process and timeline, the process is that you have to prepare the application, submit the application, evaluation will take within 1 to 3 months. After that, all goes well, you get the offer letter, and then you execute on the product development. So that's where you start paying your salaries, you start incurring all the costs to develop. Typically, grant agencies can fund between 6 to 12 months, but we have seen projects for as long as 2 to 3 years. Those are mega projects where it's quite a complex offering to develop, right? And then after the product is done, the first prototype is done, we'll prepare and submit for claims, and the claims and reimbursement process usually takes between 1 to 2 months. All right, so sorry, before I go to that, in terms of the claims requirement, i.e. what you need to show to claim at the end, that would be a demo of the first prototype of the product that you have developed to the grant agency, and also all the evidence and deliverables relating to the cost items that were incurred, including invoices, payment receipts, etc. All right, so a couple of success case studies we have helped with for this category of grants would be an offshore and engineering firm of 30 years. They were actually developing a prototype of a modular substation technology for offshore floating solar. So basically, this technology links the energy generated from the sea by the offshore solar farm to the land grid. Right. So the grant awarded was more than 300K Sing dollars, and it was at 50 to 70% support of various cost items, including salaries, third-party software, which includes the remote monitoring, the subsea remote monitoring during the construction of their prototype, as well as services like marine surveying, seabed mooring installations, and testing. Second case study was for a telco, a full digital telco firm. They were developing a first of its kind tech platform that can allow telco operators to launch a full-fledged telco service in any country within a few days. So the grant awarded was quite large because this project was pretty high profile, And it's quite hard to produce such a tech because to allow a telco operator to launch a full telco service in a new country, this used to take years. I meant before, but with this tech, it can be a matter of days. Grant was about 7M Sing dollars, and it was at 60% support and maturity for the salaries of newly hired tech staff in Singapore. All right, I'll go on to the next grant. Okay, so shifting gears, I talked about product development. So right now we are talking about expansion grants. So grants that help your companies expand overseas into new sales markets. Okay, I would like to highlight the word sales. This means that your company needs to be actually selling into those markets and securing clients from those markets. So it can't be a market where you're setting up a call center, to just handle call center or technical support. You actually need to be, it needs to be a sales market where you're selling into that market. All right, so the grant eligibility is that your company needs to have 30% local shareholding. Your company needs to be an SME. So how is SME defined? It's defined as your entire group revenue of the last financial year not exceeding 100 million Sing dollars, or your total group employment size is less than 200 headcount. Right, then you'll be classified as a small medium enterprise. Right, and also your company must not have earned 100K Sing dollars of sales from that new market that you're trying to enter in any of the past 3 years. So that's how the grant agency defines this as a new market for you. All right, funding level is up to 50% of the qualifying cost, and the funding cap can be up to 100K of grant per new country. And this 100K is split into 3 categories. First category is for promotion, market promotion, right? That has a max cap of 20K grant, and that includes the cost of you exhibiting in an overseas trade show or engaging a PR and branding agency to help you do press releases and content seeding or thought leadership work in the new market. Second cap is for setup at 30K cap. So this means the cost of incorporating an overseas entity, filing for intellectual property protection in the overseas market, as well as engaging legal services to draft certain types of contracts like licensing agreements, agency agreements, etc. And finally, for tax advisory, so meaning engaging a tax consultant to advise you on how best to structure your overseas entity such that you optimize your tax paid. Right, and the last component is for business development. This is the the component that attracts the highest grant at 50K. And this funds you to hire a overseas-based BD staff. You can either send a Singaporean over, or you can hire a foreigner from that market. The support level will differ. As well as business matching. So this part of grant funds you to engage business matching consultants to match you with suitable clients or partners. And the duration of this scope of work can be up to 12 months. All right, so the process and timeline to apply is similar to the previous grant, except a bit shorter, right? So for MRA, Market Readiness Assistance, it's a more streamlined grant application and a simpler grant to approve. So you can expect about 30% shorter wait time. Claims requirements, similar to the previous grant as well. You need to hit the business development KPIs that were listed in the application. So for example, if you're going for the BD grant, you're using the grant to hire a BD staff and having the salary funded at 30 or 50%, then the KPI would be that perhaps the staff has closed at least one deal, or have prospected at least 20 clients or 50 clients, right? Depending on your industry, right? If it's an industry that's quite easy to get clients, then they will expect the figure to be high. So this kind of setting of the KPI is almost like a negotiation process with the grant agency. So oftentimes we advise our clients not to set it too high, because if it's too high, then when it comes to claims they can't hit, it will affect the reimbursement. All right, then so I'll move on to a couple of success cases. First one is a regulatory technology firm that's actually recognized by IMDA, or rather accredited by IMDA. They were entering the UK market and they got 50% under this grant to do a few things, right? So they actually got the promotion aspect of it to exhibit in a UK trade show. They got the setup aspect of it for incorporating a UK entity. And they also got the BD part of it by engaging a business matching services company to match them with potential distributors of their software, right? So they got a grant that's close to 100K for one market. And just to take note, the grant limit is new limit for every new country that you enter. So the 100K applies to each country. Okay, success case 2 is a leading clinical research company in Asia. They were entering the Philippines market in the clinical research segment. So they got 50% for the salary of one Filipino BD director, right, for 12 months. It was supported at 30%. They hired a Filipino. They also got the support for filing intellectual property of the trademark. And they also got support for tax structuring and advisory services. So overall grant was close to about 80K for Filipino market. Okay, so that was for overseas expansion. Now I'm going into automation. Right, so shifting gears again. So this would be a grant for companies to adopt customized software and automation technology to improve the operational efficiency of their operations. Right. So the eligibility is similar. So I wouldn't stress on it too much again. The thing is that the solution needs to be customized. That's the new thing here. It needs to be customized, and there has to be quantifiable productivity improvements. All right, funding level is 50%. But it can be up to 70% if such solutions are linked to green environment, green economy, or sustainability-related initiatives, like, for example, cutting down carbon emissions or reducing wastage of water. Right. So just now when Christy, you mentioned about some grants that can go beyond 50%. Yeah, this is an example of a grant that can go beyond 50. So it could be 70%. All right. I would go a bit faster because I've roughly gone through the mechanics of grants already in the first two cases, right? So for this one particularly, the supportable costs would be things like software and integration services, adopting automation equipment that's integrated as a high-tech production line. So that could also be funded. It could also fund training of how to use the software that is adopted to improve productivity, and potentially also the salary of an internal project manager to manage the implementation of this project. So the key difference here between this project and the first is that this project, you need to adopt a solution to improve your operational efficiency. For the first grant I talked about, it's actually to develop technology to commercialize. So it's very two different angles. All right, won't go too much into the process timeline and claims requirement. It's pretty much the same as the first grant. And there were two success case studies. I'll go pretty fast. So first is for a leading meat distributor company in Singapore. They got a grant to engage a system integrator to design and implement a full-fledged automated meat processing line across 3 levels of their facility. So there were like automation for meat cutting, meat deboning, packing into air-sealed packs. So everything was mostly automated. So the grant was close to 1 million at 50% support. And they got a grant for customized equipment, conveyors, sensors, software, and software integrators, system integrators services. Second case was actually for a water solutions engineering company. So they got the grant to implement a IoT system to track and monitor the water installations that they were tasked to install and develop and install across their projects in Asia. So improve their productivity in terms of tracking all these things and doing predictive maintenance instead of reactive maintenance. Grant was about 250,000 and at 50% support. All right. I would like to go through consultancy, but I think I'll skip this. I would like to prioritize more on manpower, right? So this is the last grant that I'll go through. I know that from the audience, there are quite a number of smaller companies. In fact, most of the companies have revenues below 5M. So I think for such companies, you're likely high growth, right? You're likely quite hungry to hire. And I thought this grant would be quite important, which is what we see as one of the most attractive hiring grants in Singapore right now. It's called a career conversion program. So this grant is meant for you to hire Singaporeans for new roles, showing which allow them to do a career conversion, or to redeploy or reskill your existing employees who have been with your company for at least 1 year. So there are 2 angles to this. You can either get new staff funded, or you can get existing staff funded. Okay, so what's the funding here? I'll skip to the funding. Not so much of the eligibility. I think we can you can have a deeper look into that when we share the slides. But let me focus on the funding. So funding, you can get 70% of the basic salary for staff that you hire who are below 40 years old. And you can get up to 90% support for staff who are above 40 years old or are long-term unemployed, meaning for the last 6 months they were unemployed. So the support level, right, can be for 3 to 6 months at these levels of support. And it will be kept at 5K per month of grant for staff below 40 years old and 7.5K of grant for staff who are above 40 years old. So let me do a case. So let's say you're hiring a new staff who is above 40 years old, or rather who is above 40 years old, right? So then we get a program that supports you for 6 months. So the total grant, the max grant you can get is actually 7.5K grant times 6 months. Okay. So the timeline for this is you prepare and apply, you prepare the application, apply for it. Evaluation takes about 1 or 2 weeks. And then there will be the offer letter issued. And you will then execute the grant, meaning you hire and then you pay salaries for 6 months. And then you prepare and submit the claims. And the reimbursement usually takes between around 3 months, right, for the salaries to be reimbursed. Okay, so there are a lot of other grants in Singapore. To name a few here, some grants are very niche, targeted at specific industries like STB, you know, for tourism businesses, and MES for fintech businesses or financial institutions. So yeah, the idea is that there are many grants in Singapore, and I do have some tips for application success to share as well. But in the view of time, right, maybe I would I will not go through this section. But after this section, I would share this deck with the audience. And if there's any particular tip that you have any question on, please engage with the organizers of this webinar. We can set up a separate section to talk about this. All right, and lastly, why RIC as a company exists? Our aim is that we do not want grants to be burdensome for companies. So we are set up just to help companies with this. Treat us as your dedicated grant department. We manage the full grant lifecycle for our clients, including from application to claims. And we take full ownership. So we do not just review the application or help to submit. We actually build all the proposals from scratch. We help to draft answers to certain tricky questions from the grant agencies, etc. Right, and our clients get timely approvals, optimal funding outcomes, and smooth reimbursements, and most importantly, peace of mind. Right, and our fee is on no risk basis, so it's only success only basis. So there's no risk to the clients. All right, with that, I will end off my presentation. I think I overrun by a bit, so apologies everyone. With this, I would hand the time back to Christy